It was so beautiful when I heard it the first time. I wanted them to sing it again. That's the reason I asked them. So, and that this for you too. Until a few years ago, the popes used to be carried on a throne on shoulders. It was only in the 60s when the old Pope, being so heavy, Pope John the 23rd, decided to do away with this custom that was the symbol of power for the church. Symbol of power on a throne carried by poor people who suffer this power at the end of the day and who carry the yoke of the power. Today we have the image and the symbol of the Good Shepherd, who is not carried on a throne or on shoulders, but he carries his own sheep on his back. This is the image and the message that we receive today from the Gospel and from the Feast of the Good Shepherd. Today we are celebrating also the feast for vocations, because we need priests who do not expect to be carried on shoulders, but who carry the burdens and crosses of those they meet and serve others. It is still fresh, the visit that we had last weekend of the Pope Benedict. And we all have seen through television, or we have been present and experienced this visit. And I just want to share with you the message he gave as a small excerpt from the message he gave last Wednesday in his audience at St. Peter's Square, and how much he appreciated the visit he had in Malta, and at the same time to have a follow-up of that visit and to remember that the Church, yes, today has changed style. To change, the Church does not want to be the symbol of power or to stay there for privileges. The Church is there to serve, and in humbleness. The moment that the Church is going through, she is accepting this situation by asking forgiveness to all those whom she had harmed in any way. The Pope said, to think of this small archipelago in the center of the Mediterranean and how the seed of the gospel arrived in it stirs a sentiment of great amazement in face of the mysterious plans of divine providence, arising spontaneously in gratitude to the Lord and also to St. Paul, who in the midst of the violent storm kept his confidence and hope and transmitted them also to his travel companions. From that shipwreck, or better, from Paul's subsequent sojourn in Malta, was born a fervent and solid Christian community, which after 2,000 years is still faithful to the gospel and makes an effort to combine it with the complex questions of the contemporary age. This is naturally not always easy, nor is it taken for granted, but the Maltese know how to find in the Christian vision the answer to the new challenges. A sign of this, for example, is the fact of having kept firm their profound respect for unborn life and for the sacredness of marriage, choosing not to introduce abortion and divorce in the country's juridical system. If Malta gives the impression of a great family, one must not think that because of its geographic conformation, it is a society isolated from the world. This is not so, and one sees it, for example, in the contacts that Malta has with several countries, and because of the fact that Maltese priests are all over the world and in many nations. Clearly, Malta has often had to defend itself in the course of its century, and this is seen by its fortifications. The strategic position of the small archipelago obviously attracted the attention of the different political and military powers. And yet, Malta's most profound vocation is the Christian vocation, that is, the universal vocation of peace. Malta's famous cross, which everyone associates with that nation, has waved many times in the midst of conflicts and struggles. But thank God, it has not lost its authentic and lasting meaning. It is the sign of love and reconciliation, and this is the true vocation of people who receive and embrace the Christian message. A natural crossroad, Malta is at the center of migration routes. Men and women, like St. Paul before them, arrive on the Maltese coast, at times impelled by conditions of life that are too harsh. Complex problems on the humanitarian, political, and juridical plane, problems that have solutions, but that are not easy, but which must be sought with perseverance and tenacity, coordinating interventions at the international level. It is good to do this on all the nations that have Christian values at the root of their constitutional charters and cultures. The challenge to reconcile the lasting validity of the gospel in today's complexity is fascinating for all, but especially for young people. In fact, the new generations perceive it more strongly, and that is why I wished, despite the brevity of my visit, that a meeting not be lacking in Malta with young people. This was a moment of intense and profound dialogue, made even more beautiful by the environment in which it took place, the port of Valletta, and by the enthusiasm of the young people. I could not fail to remind them of St. Paul's youthful experience, an extraordinarily unique experience, and yet able to speak to the new generations of every age by that radical transformation that followed the encounter with the resurrected Christ. Therefore, I saw the young people of Malta as the potential heirs of St. Paul's spiritual adventure, called like him to discover the beauty and the love of God that has been given to us in Jesus Christ, to embrace the mystery of the cross, to be victors especially precisely in the trials and tribulations, not to be afraid of the storms of life or of shipwrecks, because the plan of the love of God is even greater than the storms and shipwrecks. Dear friends, this, in synthesis, has been the message I took to Malta. However, as I pointed out, I have received much from the Church, from those people blessed by God, who have been able to collaborate effectively with His grace. Through the intercession of the Apostle Paul, of St. George Breca, priest and first Maltese saint, and that of the Virgin Mary, whom the faithful of Malta and Gozo venerate with such a devotion, may they be able to progress always in peace and in prosperity. We thank God for this beautiful testament that Pope Benedict left us by this speech that he made last Wednesday at St. Peter's Square.